next speaker is an author, conservative, and founder of the website Atlas Shrugs. And you probably will recognize her when she comes up here. She gave a seminar this morning that was quite fiery and enjoyable concerning the threat of radical Islam. And matter of fact, we had an organization call for us to ask her not to speak. Well, forget about that. And let me explain why. Huzzah! Let me explain why. We just don't have a care in the world. And I have something in my eye. It's an I don't care hair. Please welcome Pamela Geller.
I am so pleased to be here. I want to thank you. I want to thank the Tennessee Tea Party Coalition. I want to thank Vince and Anthony. I want to thank all of you for being so courageous. It may not seem that you are, but let me tell you something. When the unindicted co-conspirator, Muslim Brotherhood Front, Hamas-tied CAIR, demanded that Franklin Graham be banned from National Prayer Day at the Pentagon, the greatest military superpower in the world caved to the terror-tied CAIR. Boo. When unindicted co-conspirator, Hamas Front, Muslim Brotherhood proxy CAIR demanded that Robert Spencer be banned from the American Library Association, the library, the gatekeepers of human thought, he was banned. So I want to just say something that is very important. This is a free speech issue, and CAIR characterizes defense of free speech, freedom of conscience, equal rights for women as hate speech. Well then, I guess I'm a hater. What I really am is not an anti-Islam speaker. I am a pro-freedom speaker. Huzzah. I love that. And for Southern boys and girls to welcome a New Yorker like me, where I get kicked around the corner in that blue state, I can't tell you how encouraged I am, because freedom of speech must be protected first and foremost. And not just the good ideas, but all ideas, all content, because then who decides? Who decides what's a good idea? Obama? CAIR? The Organization of Islamic Conference? Without freedom of speech, free men will have no choice. They will have no alternative but to resort to violence. And we must use every tool in our arsenal before anything like that could possibly happen. And we are under attack. You're here in this room, and this room is a beautiful room, and what you don't see is that this is a battlefield. And today you were victorious. Because CAIR wants to do, at the very least, smear me again, and smear you with that racist bigot label to marginalize you, to make people that, like myself, that speak to Islamic supremacism. They want to make us radioactive and toxic so that nobody will hear us speak. And that is a restriction of free speech. And the message that I bring to you today, first, is to learn everything. Because this country is under attack. And when you say, what do you mean? Sharia law, and someone said to me, what is Sharia law? Sharia law is Islamic law. And Islam regards Sharia law to be above all laws, constitutional laws, our Constitution, and Sharia law covers all areas of life, everything, from hygiene and dietary laws, from religion to your finances, to dress codes, to family, to social life, everything. And I'm sure that you're not aware that a week after Obama nationalized the banks, the U.S. Treasury was giving seminars in Sharia finance. Now, what's wrong with Sharia finance? Well, first of all, we know that 10% of it goes to zakat. So you're financing terror. Second of all investments must be halal, meaning no adult entertainment, no alcohol, no cigarettes, no pork. Well, color me stupid, but those are whole American sectors. Those are huge business sectors in America. Do you want to finance that? Do you want to finance terror? I mean, why would we be supporting Sharia finance? Why would the federal government be giving seminars in Sharia finance? Why is Syracuse University giving seminars in Sharia law? It is foreign law. There must be a ban on Sharia. Now you could say, oh, that's not a problem. It is a problem because in many ways we are enforcing Sharia law, a soft Sharia. The way the media will not speak to jihad, the way the media will not speak about Islam in any way is a form of Sharia law because it's slander. In Islam, it's the insulting of Islam, the defamation of Islam. And we see it all the time. We see it when Comedy Central bleeps out the word Muhammad. We see it when Comedy Central doesn't want to run the little huggy bear of Muhammad. This is Sharia law. When the mayor of New York City says that the Times Square bomber is somebody who's pissed off at Obamacare, that's Sharia law. When the media says that they think it's some white guy, but if they said they thought it was a Middle Eastern guy and it was a white guy, liberal heads would be exploding. It is this imperceptible change in your lives that you don't even see. And it's happening across America. The mosquing of the workplace, the introducing of prayer times that non-Muslims have to follow because their workday is lengthened. It's installing Muslim footbaths in universities and in airports. Your infidel taxpayer dollars at work. It's in public schools where they introduce where little Muslim children want to pray. So they set aside a prayer room, and now you've introduced Muslim prayer into the school system. Would you ever get that for a Christian child? Ever. Not in your wildest dreams. You have an Islamophilic president who has created a department at the State Department for the outreach to the Ummah, the Muslim global community. Where is the outreach to the non-Muslim world? Where is the recompense for 9/11? I live in New York City, and I'm leading an opposition, a rally on June 6th, D-Day, and the symbolism should not be lost on you, to oppose the 9/11 mega-mosque at Ground Zero. Now, I want to talk about the 9/11 mega-mosque for a minute because it's very important that you understand symbolism in Islamic history. Everything is symbolic. The name of the initiative, the Cordoba Initiative, was when, the Islamic conquest of Spain. The building itself, if you've seen the rendering, looks like a trade center, the World Trade Center. It's scheduled to open on September 11th. And they talk in such an I'm insulted as a non-Muslim. I'm offended. Can I be offended or it's only one-way street? I'm offended that they want to build a shrine to the very ideology that inspired those attacks on those towers. I believe it should be a mosque-free zone. But even if it weren't, why not build a center dedicated to the hundreds of millions of non-Muslims and Muslims that have died in over a millennium of jihad wars, land appropriations, cultural annihilation, and enslavements? Or at the very least, to the 9/11 victims, or as the Imam Rauf said, those harmed by 9/11, harmed by 9/11. The Prime Minister of Turkey said, the mosques are our fortresses and the minarets are our bayonets. Now, this is a moderate Muslim country. The Prime Minister of Turkey also said to Obama, their is no extreme Islam. There is no moderate Islam. Islam is Islam. And the Taliban, who I don't know if you're aware of it, is Obama's, he wants to partner with the Taliban now. What's he going to partner in? Poisoning the girls' schools in Afghanistan? What's he going to partner with the Taliban for? Said, there is no extreme Islam, it's an insult. It is Islam. And I think that this campaign of disinformation to the American people is the most damaging and the biggest threat we face today. Because it's like that analogy where, if you throw a frog into boiling water, it jumps right out. But if you put a frog in tepid water and you slow boil it, it boils to death. And I'm telling you, we're boiling to death. The soft Sharia is just as dangerous, if not more so, than the violent jihad. Now, we know the violent jihad. We see it in the Christmas Balls bomber. We see it in the Fort Hood jihadi. And what's even more troubling is if you saw the Pentagon report from the Fort Hood jihad, that, first of all, I have to tell you that when I do presentations many times, I use the PowerPoint presentation that Major Hassan, the jihadi, made on Grand Rounds. He had a PowerPoint presentation that boiled jihad down to its essential oils. And I think when he presented that at Grand Rounds, he was coming out as a jihadi. He gave away Qurans on the day of his jihad. His little business card said, "Soldier of Allah." When the Pentagon did their review of that jihad, they never once mentioned Islam. They never mentioned jihad. They would not discuss religious motivation. How are you going to fight an enemy that you are afraid to name? You have, so the Pentagon has so subdued itself, which is what Islam tells the kafir, that's us, to do. And you have, on all fronts, you are being assaulted. You are being assaulted on the academic front. The universities have become hostile places for Jewish students, for any pro-Israel action at all. Kids get beat up. The Middle Eastern Studies departments are hotbeds of jihad. They're using texts with rewritten histories. You have a litigation jihad against people like me who speak. They sue us. They sue us. They don't expect to win. They expect to bankrupt us. They expect to shut us up with litigation. I mean, we passed a law in New York, Rachel's Law, and I know that you did it here in Tennessee too. Okay, you did it in Tennessee too. People that sued, it's libel tourism. What I'm saying to you is that you must become aware of the advancing jihad in this society. You must look around your schools, your towns. You must look at your children's textbook. You must see what they're being told. You must fight. You must get on school boards. You must get in precincts. You must fight the advance of Islam. There is an economic jihad. There is a cultural jihad. You'll see the keffiyeh is like a fashionista scarf now. It's a swastika. The keffiyeh is a war scarf of jihad. The children in Iran, they're commanded to wear it to show solidarity with their Muslim brothers in Gaza. We are at war. We are at war, and I tell you that the information battle space, the war of ideas, is where the real war is fought, and where the subsequent blood and bullets and bombs are a result of that war. And I ask you to be a soldier for freedom. And you can't sit back anymore. Those days are over. We've used up the greatest generation's card. It's over. The bill is due, and you're at the cash register. Thank you very much for having me. God bless you. God bless America.